Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel, Evolve with Monette. For those of you that are new here, I am a professional intuitive empath. It's so good to share energy with you. Thank you for inviting me in. Come on in. Have a sit. Have a stay. Let's chat a bit today. For those of you that are guided by your angels, your intuition, your gut to work with me, you can find my information below, okay? Now, I want to get into today's video. It's a little bit different. It's an unboxing, but not one that I did. It's something that was unboxed for me, which was a full circle closure, which helped me to heal a chapter of my life, but also gave me back more than I could have ever asked for, as giving always does, and confirmed to me the wonder and the majesty of the galaxy and how all things are connected in their own way. And how if you listen and you're obedient, the angels love to come out and kind of show you up and play in the most spectacular form. This began for me about over a month ago, which was the anniversary of something else for me. The anniversary of really being in the know and understanding that I was in a really toxic situation. Now today this video is going to be actually very upbeat and happy, and I'm going to be connecting below the unboxing that is done not by me, but by the person who helped to pivot destiny for me. I really thought about if I should share this because, you know, evil eye's a thing and people be hating outside in these streets for real. But, excuse me guys, I felt guided by my angels, and I felt like it was okay to do this, which is not something I would normally. It's kind of a part of my internal life, and I don't share specifically who I work with or who I like specifically, or who when I say like readers that I like, you always hear me say I have 3 at any time in my rotation. I try to keep it pretty pure and whatever. And there's some criteria there for me to watch a reader and feel comfortable with them. They need to be not just focused on love. That's the first thing. Second thing, I really like people that have a broad expansion. And this reader specifically today does. They are dealing with channeling the Anunnaki, Palladians, starseeds. They're talking about spider races. Their mind is so broad. They are so wise beyond their age. It just blows my mind. And yeah, certainly some love stuff pops in too, but it's not the main focus for them. And that's what some of the best channels do. You should be growing in many ways. Yes, I channel love here too at times, but you hear the subject matter that we teach and talk about often, and it is varied. And there is a plethora of information that my angels download to me every single day isn't love. And y'all know I'm a Leo sun sign and I love that love, but every day can't just be that. However, sometimes we are dealing with themes of that, but the readers that I watch have a broad spectrum. She's talking about billionaire timelines and millionaire timelines. And for those of you that may have come here from her channel because of the unboxing, hello, welcome. I'm so grateful to always have tribe, family, cosmic family. You are so welcome here. But for those of you that are just part of my collective and you've never heard of this reader before, because maybe you're not into readings per se, but as a reader, I'm into readings, okay? But her name is Moon, okay? And her channel will be connected below. And she came into my awareness over a year ago, and she's just fucking brilliant. And the kind of brilliant that you can't create, you can't make, you can't imitate, you can't copy, you can't soul snatch, you can't destiny swap. A kind of brilliance that's so authentic to her. And my angels purposely, see, y'all know that we talk about astrology on this channel. Well, I don't give you my full chart. I give you a couple of the pivotal parts so that you can understand how you may begin to work too. Every reader has various feelings on how that it should go for you, but I'm comfortable sharing. But y'all know here in my collective that I'm a Gemini rising, right? Now, what that means is that for me, in its highest form, it's about communication, the airwaves specifically. This is the domain for Gemini energy, Geminian energy. But, I have some other very grounded earth signs in my chart, which really help me to balance out that air sign energy. But what it means is that I care about accents. I know that sounds crazy. I'm a West Indian woman, as many of you guys may know. And so I grew up, I'm a first generation American, and so I grew up with West Indian parents. And so that I can slip into that. You guys hear me sometimes during some of my readings. But I pay attention. Even people that I'm around, you know, various family members or whatever, even if it's like they have an upstate accent from New York or upstate New York accent or whatever the case may be, I'm usually interested in folks, and it will catch my ear if someone has an accent. One of my favorite readers is a guy in South Africa. If you know, you know. I'm not going to say his channel today. I'm only going to talk about Moon, but he's a South African reader, and I just could listen to him all day, because also he's also not just talking about love. He's talking about real up-leveling of your soul, how you're expanding, how you're growing. If you're interested in him and it's a serious inquiry, please email me and I'll be happy to share it with you. I'm not gatekeeping. There's a thing about, here's the thing about that. We readers, like, usually allocate ourselves a couple of readings, 1 to 2 a year, right? And I have an astrologer that I read with, and I usually solicit a reading from someone that I find in the YouTube streets that I resonate with. Everyone has their own rules, but those are my own, right? Because readings can, if you're not healthy or balanced, they become addictive. And listen, I read all day, so I could read for myself, and believe you me, my angels be outside here reading, okay? They are readers, okay? My angels are the most fantastic readers I could ever get. But sometimes you are, you know, I always say, guys, let no one be your guru, but always evolve as a new teacher comes through, okay? Because we have different people that we're going to resonate with at different times. And I always tell you, you are free to go from here once you feel like we've met our divine mission. You know, if it doesn't resonate anymore, then pop in and say, hey, if you want to, but you are not obligated to stay here. And in fact, I want you to branch out and find the right teachers for you. Anyway, that being said, Moon is Australian. Well, from New Zealand or Australia, I'm not sure specifically, I don't want to get that wrong, but in any case, she has an accent, and that's actually what perked me up. And I found her channel before she had a major blowout in the stratosphere, because literally I probably only have commented once on her channel, and the comment I wrote from however long ago was "A Star is Born." And it was, here's the thing, you guys know I'm a projector in human design. We talked about that. I've taught you guys about that here that have been here for a while. And so what that means is I have a very good eye, a keen eye, for identifying and seeing talent, really. And I'm not anybody's talent scout or whatever, but I'm talking about metaphysically. I end up finding people that are just really talented. I just can just feel it. This kid is the real deal. And I say kid, you know, figuratively speaking, this is a young woman in her 20s. But she's like a cosmic cousin in college to me. Does that make sense? Like, I'm like, how's it going? How's it going with the bitches? You know what I mean? All that stuff. I just love this kid. She's so, like, tuned in and understands and overstands, you know what I mean? I feel very much like she's like a cosmic niece, you know. I'm like the boozy rich auntie, and the rich, and I'm saying rich proverbially, you know, because I'm rich in spirit, y'all. A rich figure. So I'm very much like the bougie auntie that's like, hey, how's it going, kid? Like, that's how I feel when I watch your channel, that kind of energy, you know. Just so fucking proud of her. There's a poem that Maya Angelou has, and in it she has a stanza, and she says, I love to see a young woman grab the lapel of life, or grab life by the lapels, which is like if someone had on a smart blazer, and I could totally see Moon wearing a smart blazer and rocking the shit out of it, because her fashion is great too. But she's like, I love to see a young woman grab life by the lapels, you know, and just like blaze her own trail. When I think about all the things that I have been through in my life, and all of the ways that it took me to get to be my authentic self, and I'm in my 40s, I think about, like, God, the bravado, the panache, the testicular fortitude, figuratively speaking, that Moon has to be her authentic self in her 20s. I wish that I was as smart as she was. And whether, you know, the funny thing is I can say all of that, and she could say, well, I don't really feel that way, or I didn't feel that way, or this hasn't been easy. And that's true. I want to always pay homage to everyone's journey. But when you see this kid, she's brilliant. She's like a comet streaking through the sky. I really can't say enough. And the reason I'm saying so much is because I was guided to do something that I wouldn't normally do. In fact, that I haven't ever done in my entire life. Okay? Not here on these YouTube streets. And I've been on these YouTube streets. Y'all can go check my about page for a hot, long minute. Okay? Really active in the last 3 or 4 years, but been out here for a long time. And so my angel said to send her something. Now, y'all know I teach all about these various modalities of love and the way that we express it. So y'all know we talk about love languages here. And my love language is primarily words of affirmation. Can you tell? And then secondary, it's gifts. Okay? So, that is the way I say I appreciate you, I see you. It's the way that I tithe, right? While you guys know I have that background in Christianity, and that definitely infuses some of the way that I teach, I've unlearned and unindoctrinated myself from a lot of the dogma that can often be attached to it. But that principle of tithing never comes back to you void. It never returns to you void. Whether that's you giving a meal to a homeless person, or you helping out the single mother, or you paying for the load of laundry if you're at the laundromat, or giving back in any kind of way, the angels, the universe, it will always repay you. God always honors that. So you don't have to be in the church house giving to the building fund for the crooked ass preacher message to tithe. You can find ways to tithe. And if you ever have any church hurt, I don't know who I'm talking to today, and someone has betrayed you or tried you, there is a way that you can find to still give back, and God will bless you for that. I promise you. But in any case, so I look for ways to tithe, okay? And sometimes I'm giving to people that I do love, that are intimately in my life, family, friends, lovers, soulmate, people I'm dating, whatever the case may be. But this time, the angels tasked me very specifically to tithe to this lady that was across the way down under, way, way, way afar from me. And I just thought, here's the thing, I argue with my angels. Me and my angels are like ace boon coons. Like, we chop it up, we talk. It's like, that's my favorite, like, they're my favorite folks to have like a sip of wine with, you know, hashtag communion, and be like, okay, so what's good? What's really going on? And so when they started putting this on my heart, I was like, listen, I'm not going to be the weirdo out in these parasocial streets sending a gift to somebody, because it's weird, and whatever the case may be, and I don't want to, you know, over inundate. Again, understanding my human design aspects, literally I have to wait for the invitation. There's a lot of little lessons that are going to be in here, so sit back, grab a snack, we're going to chat for a minute. So I have to wait for the invitation before I can, you know, initiate contact. Otherwise it doesn't go well for me, and that's usually what's happened for me. And I just, you know, we teach about that here too, regarding empath ways that we can operate, and sometimes we can be people pleasers, so we can be overgiving and all of that stuff. And I never wanted any narcissist or ungrateful person to burn out my true spirit, because those are my two primary love language, and that secondary one means a lot to me. And it's not because I need something back, it's because I genuinely love to give, and not a lot of people are like that, meaning they're maybe wanting something back and whatever. I don't give a damn. I'm just like so happy if I'm able to intuit properly what will bless, edify, or lift up whomever the receiver is. And I have been treated really like shit because of it, in the weirdest way. People have either thought I was a fool or they could take advantage of me, and no. We sharp up here. Bougie auntie is sharp up here. We paid attention up here, okay? But this was such a healing salve for my soul, and I'm going to expound upon it. But my angels start saying, you need to send this girl a gift. And so I fight them on it for a little while. I'm like, listen, y'all know the rules. I'm a projector. I can't just do something. Like, there has to be invitation. So I'm watching her channel one day, and she says something right in the beginning of one of her, I think it was a reading, and she lightly petitions, literally, she was like, someone out there, a woman, she specifically said, if there's a woman out there who has any idea about face care or skin care or whatever, you know, I would love some help or some advice or whatever. She said something to that nature, and my angels were like, and what, anything else? What else can we do for you? So I began researching, because I had observed, and that's what projectors do. We're really good observers. So I knew, because she kind of mentioned it offhandedly in other moments and other readings, but never like that directly. Like, she looked into the camera, she was like calm, cool, collected, and also humble and vulnerable. And I thought it was so sweet. And I thought, God, that was brave of her to do, because, you know, we all struggle with things. Y'all see my plus sizes, right? So we all have our thing that we could be like, oh, everybody can see, and, you know, my weight fluctuates, and like, I get insecurities. I think any woman here, or man too, does. But specifically for women, there's a certain level of expectation about how we present and how we look. And so I was like, you know, I love that she did that. That was so sweet. So I began to research in her country the thing that I already had in my mind that I knew that she would need, or that it would be probably, I'm hoping, beneficial for her. In any case, I started to look it up. And I realized that they didn't sell it in her country. Because what I was going to do was email her, because she asked so sweetly. I was going to just email her and be like, hey little sis, hey little niece, hey little nephew, cosmically, because she's very balanced in her masculine and feminine. Hey nephew, what's good, son? I feel like I have a solution here for you. Literally, proactive solutions. And so, a proactive solution. I love that. Thank you, angels. Angels are hilarious. So I was like, I feel like I got a solution for you. And she was, and she didn't say anything. She had no idea this was happening, but they didn't sell it in her country. So I was like, okay, well, I'll buy it and then I'll send it to Australia. And that'll be the problem solved, right? So it starts off like that. My angel's like, yeah, that's what we told you to do. And I was like, okay, well, she did the invitation. So now it's not going to be weird. Now I can do it. I'm not just being some invasive, internet auntie that's just like, hey, da 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 da, right? And so, I bought it. It came to the house, and I was going to wrap it up, and they were like, that's what you're going to put it in? They picked out the paper, y'all. My angels are so specific with gifting. It's amazing to me. But when you watch the video, you will see their precision, which even astounds me. Deeply astounded and touched me to my soul. And then I got this incredible payoff on the back end, which I'm going to tell you about, that helped me heal from a cosmic troll, fucking fae. Okay? So, in any case, so they're like, that's the paper you're going to send it in? And I was like, okay. So I start looking for the paper. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to send it out tomorrow. And then they start adding things to it. So, at the beginning of the month, specifically on a certain day that was very pivotal to when I decided to release myself from the fae, over a year ago, I made a video called The Great Fairy Escape, because I was soulmate dating someone who was so fucking toxic. Now, I even gaslit myself as to the degree of her toxicity, and it wasn't until I watched Moon do the unboxing that I realized exactly how things can be. Now, I've had that experience before, meaning like gifted things to people who are incredibly gracious and thankful and whatever. So please do not think that that wasn't it. And please do not, I can't tell a single lie and say that the fairy didn't say thank you. It was her actions and her purposeful, willful behavior that did undo every thank you she did offer to me, because she went out of her way to treat me terribly and act as though what I was doing was like no big deal, when it might have been the biggest deal of her life. And I'm not saying that to be cocky, I'm just telling you because the angel said it's fucking right. Now, the reason I say this is because the juxtaposition of the behaviors were immense and enormous to me. And the angel said, and it was in that moment when I was watching Moon Unbox, and some of the stuff she was saying, I'm going to talk to you about it, that was so gracious and funny and off the cuff and piercingly observant. She was channeling while she was doing it. I was freaked out. It was so funny. At one point she says, I feel so exposed. And I was like, same girl, same. Like, the angels were working. And that's how this works, guys. This is a person I may never ever meet in this entire life that lives across down under the country. And the angels had us on an intense level of synchronicity for a moment, because they had a mission to fulfill. And that may be our only mission in life with each other, was to get this work done. She was to help me finish something she didn't even know she was doing, and I was to help validate her mission and journey in a way that I had no idea I would be doing. But when we're obedient and we listen, the angels will do the magic in between. And my God, what a magical work they did. And it has to be seen. You have to go see it to see how beautiful it is. But I'm not talking about the gift either. Her reaction was the gift. Really, truly, for me, that's why I give, to see that energy. It was amazing. It was the nicest, most receptive. It's crazy that a perfect stranger could do something for you that's the best thing that's ever happened for you. She said similar. She was like, no one's ever given me a gift like this. And the gift she gave me, with her like effusive, whimsical, childlike gratitude, is the best. It's the best reception of a gift I've ever had in my entire life. Everything about it was, and she recorded it and edited it and added music, and I was like, is this real? It was just the sweetest thing, and it healed so much. But I'm arguing with my angels first, and I'm like, oh my God. Well, I'm gonna send it, and I'll put it in the paper you told me to put it in. And they said, but wait, there's more. And they kept adding things and adding things and adding things and adding things. And adding things and adding things and adding things and adding things. I'm not even exaggerating, to that many ads. And I was like thinking, okay. And then there was one very specific thing that was a nod to her inner child work. And I argued with them a lot about that because I was like, listen, she's an adult. She's literally going to give this to one of her nieces and nephews in real life, or she's going to chuck it in the bin or the wastebasket, the rubbish, the trash, whatever country you're in, you know what I'm talking about, the trash can. She's going to chuck it in the bin because she's not going to do this thing, and she's going to be like, why did she give me this like kitty thing or this thing or whatever? It's like a crafty thing. And the validation that she gave me about that blew my heart and soul open. And, that's all I'll say about that. But it was like, whew, like I could cry thinking about it. The angels are in the midst of everything. And because they were like, no, get it. Like, that my angels be on my ass, y'all. They're on my ass. And they were on my ass about getting her the package. So I accumulated all this stuff, and I was like, are y'all going to keep adding stuff? They're like, no, that's it. Now you need to get it out to her. Well, life got really busy. I had doctor's appointments. I had tests. I had all kinds of things coming up. And so I was busy. I was busy with clients and all the rest of it. And then they were on my ass, and they would be like her video would pop up, and I'd feel the guilt, like, I haven't got this package out to her yet, and whatever. So it was finished, right? They assembled like Voltron, and they'd assembled like, not Voltron, like Transformers in the best way. And they had assembled to fight the Decepticons, really. That's what I heard to say. And so they were like, put this together. It's done. It's assembled. It's a Bumblebee package, right? It's going to bring happiness to her. It floats like a butterfly, sings like a bee. It's going to heal things for both of her. You and her. I didn't know, actually. That's the part that was a surprise to me. So anyway, I am boxing it up. The box is too small. So, it was so funny. My partner, my husband, y'all know, just, I'm giving you clarity because it matters for this video, but y'all know here that I am bisexual and that I have a husband, but I was putting a lot of pride things into it, that which of course meant nothing to him at all. But he brings me in another box because he's like, I don't think it's all gonna fit. And I was like, no, I was in denial. I was in denial of that fact. And because you heard me say soulmate dating, so I know that may be confusing for you guys, but I just want you guys to understand this is my life. Everybody lives their life the way they live their life. But my husband bought it in the box and was like, girl, I don't think this is all gonna fit. And I was like, I don't think it is gonna fit. So we reconfigure it and whatever, and then it gets off to ship. But my angels were screaming at me, you have to get this to her by a certain time. When I made the video, The Great Fairy Escape, they said within a year's time, we're going to show you exactly why you needed to get away from that fae. And we're going to validate you in the most incredible way. And so nice things have happened. Good things have happened that I've incubated because there's always people lurking and watching. But so I already felt like I kind of had got whatever they had promised. Does that make sense? Like they'd already given me so many beautiful gifts and magical occurrences and so many amazing things. So I was like, okay, well, we did it. I was expecting some like great fanfare specifically around the month because my angels don't lie to me. And they said we still didn't. They said the only reason it got procrastinated because you procrastinated because it was supposed to happen literally in the month of October. So it was just so funny to me that they were like, girl, we were on time. It was you. You should have got that box out when we told you to. But then they said, but we still love you so much, we're going to put this into divine alignment for you. So she gets the box. She does the unboxing. And in the unboxing, she says, before she even begins to unbox it, she says, they told me today it was going to be my birthday. So the reason that the angels were on my ass was because they wanted me to get this to her because she was going through her own stuff. And she talks about it in the video, so I feel safe to say it here, that she'd shed a tear or two that week, and she was feeling overwhelmed with the mission because what a lot of people don't understand, and as a practitioner, I feel safe to speak to you about it, whether you're just a watcher or a practitioner yourself watching, it is very lonely in this life. Even if you're dating, soulmate dating, if you outside, like my young niece outside, she outside, I love that for her. Anyway, I'm getting her business, but the angels was in her business. But I love the energy and vim and vigor of which she lives her life. But what I'm saying is, like, you could have partnership and lovers and all the rest of that, but still sometimes feel lonely because people are not matching your vibe. Is somebody gonna match my vibe? Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my nasty? I gotta say my nut. They said I'm an athlete. Well, we're metaphysical, we have a metaphysical stamina that a lot of people don't have. Our brains are working in ways that other people's brains are working. It doesn't mean that we're better or lesser. The most, not the lesser. That comes up here too. What it means is that we think like the lesser do, meaning there's just a different way. It just is what it is. If you're watching this channel, you will not be offended because you're part of the lesser too. Meaning, you don't think like the bulk of people, like the masses, like the bots do. And so sometimes it's lonely in this world. You know, I have some Orion affiliation and energy, and Minnetonkan energy as well for my star seed, you know, affiliation. And sometimes I just want to go home. And anybody that's a star seed knows what that feels like, to just want to fucking go home. Because I'm thinking of that song by that girl here from the YouTube streets that acclaimed fame, and now she has a contract. Don't you love to see? YouTube's amazing for helping you really wrangle your destiny. But it was called Earth is Ghetto. I'll see if I can connect it below. Earth is ghetto. She wants to go home because she didn't feel like she belonged here either. And sometimes Earth is ghetto for the spiritual folks. And so Moon was really lamenting so poignantly about the fact that she felt like down bad earlier that week, and was, you know, wondering about her mission and all the rest of it. But she's such a fucking brilliant star. And I'm like, girl, your light's just begun to shine. Don't let these folks that are on demon time take you out the frame and play with your mind, because you are doing God's work, and it's mighty fine. I'm so proud of her, because you have to have a personality, your own identity, to do the work that Moon's doing. But when she said it's lonely outside, I said, oh God. Y'all know my favorite little clip from Breisha Taylor, or Breisha whatever, but she's a comedian and an actress. I'll connect it below too. But she says it's tumbleweeds out in the streets regarding dating, like a piece of trash, like something shiny blows by. It's a piece of tinfoil, but you think it's a piece of silver, but it's tinfoil and it crumbles to dust. Like, it's so hilarious. That's what it feels like outside dating. That's for me, soulmate dating. But outside, being in these streets, or sometimes just trying to find your tribe, even if it's not romantic and it's just straight up platonic. Just sometimes trying to find your tribe. Be like, you think you find someone, and then it like crumbles to ish. Now, I'm very fortunate. I have some beautiful people in my life that are real solid folks and whatever. But this year for me specifically, I had to cut off the Fae at the beginning of the year, who was just fucking sucking up energy and just doing all this destiny swap weird shit with me, and someone that I dearly love, that I thought was a friend, who started to get stoked with jealousy and started to act out. I was like, what is happening? It was like a topsy-turvy moment. So this was even more sweet, this moment here that I got to share with this parasocial friend somewhere over there. It's, you know, look what God did. It's so amazing what the angels do. It's so amazing how the universe loves you. And when you give out good, as Moon says, you will get good back to you. Because I had no expectations other than, I hope she doesn't think this is weird. And the way that she blew my mind, like, literally, I'm still floating from how amazing and how divinely everything was lined up. But she said that. And so the reason she said, you know, I was hurting a bit and feeling lonely outside, and again, to which I can relate, and that's why the angels dispatched me in to do that. The way that I always talk about the gift here, working with our gift things, guys, not just my gift, your gift too, your intuition is your conduit. The way I envision it is as a pipe. Things come through you. So when they said, you're supposed to send this perfect stranger a package, I said, y'all are trying to make me, you set me up. You're trying to set me up. Now, I trust them. My angels don't mislead me, and they don't lie. And then they checked me on their track record, and they said, have we lied before? I said, no, you never do lie. You don't lie. And they said, okay, so then start listening, because we're going to tell you more. And more they did. And more they did. Now, sending a package to someone too, just like a brief aside, I'm a West Indian woman. West Indian people send parcels, barrels, and packages. If you're West Indian from any part of the West Indies, the Spanish part, the West Indian, African American part, y'all know what I'm talking about. Not African American, but you know what I'm saying. The West Indian American part, we send barrels, we send packages. This is just this part of the love language, is to provide provision of whatever, because usually it's less expensive in the States, or it used to be anyway, to send it back to the country. Things are very expensive sometimes in these other countries adjacent to the States. So a barrel or a package is my way of saying I love you. And I've sent gifts to people before and had really weird reactions. This was course corrected. This healed every weird reaction I've ever had. Now, that's not every time. People have been really lovely and gracious, but sometimes I've had some weird reactions. So, but it's part of my culture too. It's not just my love language. It's like part of me to say, if I appreciate you, or if I'm worried about you, or if the angels say to, I'm gonna send you something. But I don't usually, and never have in my entire life, all 40 plus years of my life, I've never sent a package to a perfect stranger, essentially, who had no idea it was even coming. The only reason she got a little bit of a heads up is because there was like a missed attempt, you know, for delivery. And I had to email her because I didn't want it to be sent back. I was like, oh God, please, catch it, girl. Get it and catch it, okay? So, in any case, I listen and I'm obedient. But when you hear and watch her video, you will see how it was literally something she said she prayed for. Literally something she didn't even know she needed. Literally something she did know she needed. Something that the angels were working on. And because when you're conduit with your gift, if you really empty yourself out, that's what meditation does. That's what yoga does. She's a huge proponent and fan of that. But when you empty yourself out in whatever modality and way that you do, you will hear the messages come through to you. And you'll be crystal clear. And I couldn't argue. I heard them clearly. I knew they wanted me to get her this gift. I knew that it was the thing that they were asking me to do, and I knew that they said it's only going to be you. There's a lot of people that may have heard the message, or the other people who sent her gifts too. So, you know, shout out to all the tribe that has ever sent her anything. If you happen to see this, but there were people that sent her things. But the angel said there's a spiritual work to do, and that's the work that I do. You know, I always say I'm a spiritual detective. I have to go in and clean things out sometimes and take a look and rearrange things when we're doing our readings and stuff together. Well, they had me sent in to do that with her, and her reaction though is what I could not have quantified, counted on, or ever have expected in a million years. Beyond it being funny and reverent. Listen, if you don't fall in love with this kid by the time you're done watching this, and when I say fall in love, I mean proverbially, like she is refreshing, she's endearing, she is charming to say the least. In fact, what's so interesting is her unboxing video. My husband, y'all, back to my life, because this week is actually Trans Awareness Week, so I'm about to do a video about that, so shout out. And I actually had a client who just came out. Shout out to you. Remember I told you I was going to wear my rainbows in my hair for you. Everything is a rainbow today. You can't see the back of it. It's all rainbow. But shout out to you. You coming out. I'm so proud of you, girl. But what I was saying is that I'm bisexual. I have a husband, yada, yada, yada. But what was the point of this? Oh my goodness, my husband's carrying the package to the truck for me because it's so big. It ended up being so big. And I had a couple other things that I was sending out that week, just little small parcels and such. And per our agreement, you know, my husband seen me send out packages before to people, family members, like I was that week and stuff like that, but also to people that I've been soulmate dating. And he it was so funny. After he loaded it in the back, and I was about to back out, he knocked on the window, I rolled it down, he leaned in, he gave me a kiss on the cheek, and he said, I hope this girl's worth it. And I said, oh, no, that's not what this is. That's not what this is, man. This is not that. This is like a cosmic niece. And the reason I'm saying that is because he ended up watching the unboxing, and by the end of it was endeared. Like, my husband is a Capricorn, okay? He is a stoic earth sign. He is just so, like, emotions, feelings, where out thou, right? That's literally why I was just mentioning him, his life, to help him get more in touch with that feminine side. However, I kid you not, because we were laying in the bed watching it, and it flipped open my phone, and we were watching it, and he was literally tearing up. I had to, like, wipe tears out of the corners of his eyes. That's the kind of energy this girl down under traffics in. That my Capricorn, curmudgeon, sometimes, bless his heart, husband was affected by her joy, her genuine gratitude, her whimsy, her lightness, her hilariousness, her wit, her humor, all of it. And by the end of it, he fully understood it's not like that at all. There were no shots being shot. This was a divine assignment, a cosmic assignment, an angelically guided, demanded assignment. It wasn't me soulmate shopping or dating at all. This is someone who I'm going to be rooting for from afar for as long as she may live. I'm so proud of her, but I see her very much like a kid, and I'm more the cougar type anyway. But in any case, it was so funny that my husband, but that's a microcosm, guys. Maybe someone needs to hear that who is trying to create relationship in the way that feels good for you. That doesn't come always easy, but I reconfigured until I could make my dreams come true and also feel like I was getting the needs met that I needed to. And that's just a little snapshot of the peace that my husband has with it. Everything's not rubbed in his face until it's time and appropriate, but even that moment, he was so sweet, and I felt so loved, because he was like, oh, is this your next baby? I was like, no, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. But when he met her parasocially while watching the unboxing, he was like, I get it, she's awesome. And he was like, I remember him rounding the corner not long after we watched it, and he was holding his coffee in his hand, and he was like, she's really funny. Like, she's really funny. And I was like, exactly. That's Moon. To know Moon is to love Moon. It is what it is. And not love her like that. Again, to me, she's a kid. But to know Moon is to love Moon. But I was very grateful for that snapshot of my relationship, because you can have whatever relationship you want, guys. You do not have to follow the patriarchal rules. You do not have to model your relationship after anybody. Do everything with respect and with openness. But the fact that he's carrying a box that he thought potentially could be for some new bit and didn't balk at it, was helping me find the right size and everything, just made my heart grow 25 times bigger for him, because I don't think I could have another husband. Y'all know, primarily in my life I dated women, and if I would have had I would have never had, I was going to have a husband on my bingo card. But man, they sent in a very specific kind of husband who was going to allow me to still love women too and do the work that I do, because all of this is very unconventional, you see. But I needed to do this because it's the truth of me living and embodying my destiny. But that was a sweet moment. It was so funny. But by the end of it, he was like, oh, she's a fun kid. And I was like, exactly. Now you met Moon. And beyond that, I was so impressed with her energy, because she made my husband literally tear up several times. I wiped tears from his eyes, and he wiped them too. That's the kind of unboxing this is. That's what I'm telling you. This is not a regular unboxing. And it's not because the gifts were so magical. Well, to her they were magical, yes. But, or that I'm so magical. I'm not. I listen. The same way I listen when we're doing your readings. The same way I listen when I'm giving a friend advice. The same way I listen when I'm figuring out things about my life. Though that doesn't always come as easy. I'm like, angels, can we make it, my life as easy as it is to get a gift? But I listen, and I'm listening to what the angels say, and I pivot. If my angels tell me to cut off someone, like I had to a couple times this year, I don't look back in the rear. I know that what I did was exactly what they said to do, and they'll show me later. Sometimes I'm in danger, and they'll say we'll tell you later. Move now. We'll tell you later. And to this point, excuse me, guys, when I was watching Moon do the unboxing, and she was bringing tears to my eyes as well, that was the later regarding the toxic, corrupted Fae that came into my life to try to have her own way, girl. The way that she wanted to have. And I'm going to teach you some of the lessons real quick about that and why it mattered. Let's get into that section of it. So go check out the video from Moon and you'll understand, or watch this in full and then come back, or whatever you want to do. But I was in that connection and soulmate dating someone, and I was 100% transparent. I trafficked in authenticity and the truth. I have other videos up here where I'm teaching many parts of the lesson. I might connect a couple below. The one that was the most important was the one with the octopus on it, because that's the energy that she definitely trafficked in. Tarantula energy, spider race for sure, pig-toed tarantula. You'll hear it at the end of the video. Now, here's the deal. What she did was she went out of her way in our connection to try to undermine me, to try to lower my self-esteem. She was ungrateful and entitled at the same time. She was, like, I'm channeling Elena somewhere, said, I'm broke, but I'm pretty. It was like she was entitled, but she was impoverished energetically. I'm not talking about her bank account. I'm talking about her soul was poor. And I was like, how you both, sis? And I'm trying to give you a stimulus package, and beyond a stimulus package, I'm just trying to, like, flood you out spiritually, you with the bank energetically, because that's just the flow that I traffic in. If you know, you know, and you know, because y'all are out there energetically. I'm going to talk about what I am. You know how you do when you're in people's life. Empath, when we show up in people's life, we rearrange it, we change it, we uplift, we transmute, we see the gift, we speak to the youth, we speak to the elders, we speak to the people on our plateau. We are an incredible person to know. I'm just saying that. I don't know, that's just my Leo energy. Feel how you want to feel, pop my collar, but I'm going to pop it for you spiritually. You do that in people's lives. I have lots of videos. I think one of them up here is about something about you are the end of the rainbow. One's recently here where I'm teaching a lesson about Jeffrey Katzenberg, who got fired from Disney and ended up making DreamWorks. People be sleeping on what you did. He made Disney movies that we still watch from now and we still show our kids. And they were ungrateful. And that's how people can be in our energy. And that's how, this is a perfect parallel, thank you, angels. That's how that fairy fae tried to do me. She was acting like she was Disney, like, I could get this anywhere. And I was like, you can't? Bet. Say less. Now, here's what's so beautiful about this. Moon has not read for me personally. Not yet, anyway. I would be delighted to get a reading from her. But Moon has not read for me personally. Moon does not even know I exist. And when she was opening that package, she hadn't laid eyes on me. She didn't even know what I look like. She hadn't even been to my channel as far as I'm aware. Maybe she checked it out. I have no idea. But Moon did a reading while she was opening that gift. Whew, the way she pierced through my soul. That's how you know you're working with people that are really actually talented. She spoke to and healed so many little minuscule parts that girl was just trying to tear up throughout the connection. Hold on. I got a call coming in. See, that's her energy. It wasn't her, of course, but that's her energy proverbially. She spoke to so many parts, excuse me, that were happening. One of the things she said, I'm just going to say a few things she said. There were too many to go into all of them, but she said, at one point, she was like, who are you? Who are you? For the very first thing she said, who are you, Monette? Monette's a fairy. She opened my letter and I had put some, like, stickers and stuff like that down as guided to, guys. This wasn't just what I did because I wanted to. My angels were very specific about what I was supposed to include in that package for her. And so I put a fairy by my name as I signed my name. And she was like, Monette's a fairy. And it was the sweetest, most childlike thing, the way she said it. And in my mind, I more consider myself more of a fairy godmother, but definitely of the fairy family, for sure. I'm in there, okay? I'm very, I've been very attracted to fairies. That's been my gym jam. but I definitely understood, and I was like, oh, that's so sweet. But that was a nod to the fact that this person was also a fairy. Really, I consider her a fae, octopus fae, fucking tarantula fae. But she was, she had fairy energy for sure. And so, but fairies are quite mischievous, and that's really what I got from her all the time. But in any case, she said that, and then she said something like, who are you? Who are you? You must be an angel. Sometimes we're in people's lives, guys, and they don't realize that we're an angel. And I'm like, how does it take a perfect stranger from down under to know who I am immediately? Everything she said was so soul validating. And you could be full-ass soulmate dating someone like I was with that person, or like the friend that I had to cut off this year, that you could be giving to them in their face and making their life better and helping them get their promotions and helping them move to the next level and helping them understand their relationship dynamics, interpersonal dynamics, and helping them diagnose health things and helping them figure out what's going on with their spouses, and they just are fucking ungrateful. And y'all know what I say, remove your energy. I've got a video coming up about that, about the nuances of, do we fully remove, are we fatalistic, or do we set boundaries quicker so that people don't play with us and they put some respect on our name? The things that the angels download throughout the day. But the thing that happened is that she just kept saying things. Like she said, I feel so sedated. She said, I feel so loved. And at one point she stopped and she like put something that I had given her to her chest and she said, I feel sedated with love. That was so powerful for me because our love can't put people to sleep. And I think they didn't start sleeping on us. I didn't feel like it was anything negative from her, but I think she felt like inundated, surrounded, and almost like, like put to sleep in a way, but like rocked to sleep, lulled to sleep, like in the arms of the angels. That's what I was channeling when she said that, Yeah, that's what it feels like when we're hugged by the cosmos, when we're hugged by outside energy, when our angels dispatching someone to send us a cosmic hug and a cosmic love up and say, oh God, you're so seen, you're so worthy, you're so powerful out here doing the work you're supposed to. They guided me. It was so funny. I am quite meticulous. Now that's my Virgo in my chart. I'm very meticulous with my gifting. So I always like number things, right? And they asked me to do that with her. And I was like, oh my God, she doesn't know me. So this is going to be weird. Well, I love her inner child. It went straight for the thing that was like it was the thing I knew she was going to love. And it was, she taught a beautiful spiritual lesson about upgraded tools that she learned. She made a reference to a video game that she played during the pandemic, and she had taught a lesson about it, and the angels told me, buy her this specific tool and bling it out. Like, by your hand, we want you to literally glue on the bling. So I did. And it was crazy because it was like the first thing she opened and she lost her shit. And my husband died laughing because he was judging me when I was making it. He was like, what is it? What are you doing? Like, you're ruining a perfectly good garden tool. I'm like, no. The angels said, y'all, I promise you, my angels and me, we like this in the cut with my twin, we be vibing, okay? So my angels were like, no, you need to do this and this. She's gonna love this shit. And she did in fact love that shit. And how could I know that? I've never had a real conversation with this person, okay? It's a parasocial relationship. That's why I said I felt like I'm out on the limb, on the edge of glory here. I felt a little bit like y'all are putting me in some, I don't want to seem weird, because also I had a wounding from that fae who would come in being like, oh, I'm your number one fan, and she was all like, I'm fangirling, and I didn't let her in my life for like over a year. So it wasn't like I was impetuous or I didn't vet her like I teach you guys to do. She was at it and love bombing in her own little way to let me in. Little pig, let me in. And I do have hairs on my chinny chin chin. Thank you, PCOS. I do have real testosterone. I do know better. And I should have stroked my wise beard before I did depilatory and take it away and electrolysis it and all the things I do to it. And I should have been like, this is not a good idea, but I didn't, okay? And so it was weird to me. So all the advice I gave you, it was like, was null and void in that situation, because I wasn't like on some horn dog mission of like, immediately this is what it's going to be. I waited until I felt like literally she gave me invitations actually and was pretty persistent. So I was shocked that when she got in my energy, she was acting the fuck up. Anyway, go watch the video if you want to hear the full story. And that's not even the full story. I could never even waste enough time here on the full story for you guys because my God today. And especially for an intuitive person, it was such an assault to me, her gaslighting and sociopathy. I think she's, I don't know. I'm nobody's doctor, but the point is, those moments in Moon's unboxing were healing so many of the things that had happened. I forgot my point here, but she went out of her way to kind of like act like what I was doing. She even complained about gifts. That's what I was going to say, I think, but maybe I'll watch this back and be like, no, that's not what you're going to say. She complained about gifts, and she got her mother in, a Cancerian mother. Now, Cancerian energy is incredibly needy, and when it's low vibrational. Not everyone, we all have duality in every sign, mine included, okay? But it rules mother, though. It's a mother lunacy. If you have like Munchausen by proxy, those are things that are associated with mothers that are out of their balance regarding their mothering energy. And so I had observed that there were some issues there, but I wasn't saying everything I saw because she wasn't inviting me to. And I had to mind my human projector energy. But she interfered so much and had a lot to say. And when we were perfectly happy, she'd be like, hey, it's been a while since you dated a guy. Don't you think it's time? Like, she was just messy. And I was like, I don't think the girl realized that her mother didn't like her. I don't think, her mother loved her. So I want to be clear about that. But sometimes parents... I'm trying to measure what I say here. I think it might be a lesson for some of you guys here. Sometimes you might have a parent in your life that may not be rooting for you to win. Exactly. Because it's not their idea of winning. Even though it may be the biggest win of your life, or the best situation, or an interesting one, or something you could have learned something from, even if it wasn't a forever thing. But they sanction out of their conservative mind that it's not winning, so it wasn't winning, so they'll sabotage the fuck out of it and then watch you cry and watch you be depressed for months and then be like, I didn't realize you liked them that much. No, because you weren't listening. But you got to learn how to stand up for yourself, okay? And that person was in her almost 40s, okay? She was closer to 40 than she was to 30 by far, so she was grown. grown as fuck. And you know, and that's funny. That's so funny, especially back to the part with my husband being like, I hope this girl's worth it. And the fact that I really like cougars. That's the youngest person I ever dated. And that killed that for me. Meaning, I will never date. She was like, she might be, I don't know, was she 38? I don't know how old she was, really. I don't even know, girl. I was too busy trying to focus on the mind game, so I couldn't even figure out what her real age was. But she was like around there. She was in her late 30s. And so for me, if you're not in your 50s, what are we talking about? Really, usually, for my soulmate dating situations. And this is the first time I made an exception, and it's an exception I'll never make again. So that's why I was like dying laughing at my good niece Moon. I was like, girl, she's a full-ass baby to me, okay? I need you to be in 50s and 60s. Thank you, ma'am. That's so much more comfortable energetically from my maturity level. But in any case, that also bothered me that her mother was weighing. It's okay. We all have mothers. We all talk to our mothers. I do to this day, and I'm so grateful for it. But I was like, why are you making decisions? Why is this thing connected to your ear? Like, do you have your own thought form? Are you able to make any decisions on your own? It was just very weird to me. It was a very strange situation to me. Maybe I'm a person who doesn't understand that. But what I saw was codependency, and I know codependency, enmeshment, and sabotage when I see it. So her mother would complain, oh, she's getting you too many nice gifts and stuff. Like, said anybody ever where who? So I was like, oh, y'all love your poverty. Literally now. You want to be in poverty and literally be impoverished. It was just such a strange experience for me. I've never had an experience like it in my life, but I guess I was supposed to. And she would relate it to me. Like, what a dummy. I was like, even if your mom's saying that to you, fine. Like, our moms all can have their opinions. Our parents, our dads, whatever. Our aunts, our uncles. But why would you come to the person that is the giver of the gift and tell them that? It was just such a peculiar situation to me. I was like, that's not how this goes. Unless you don't like gifts too. And that's what I thought. She was trying to be like passive aggressive because she like trafficked in that. So I was like, maybe she's telling me she doesn't want me. So I just stopped. I was like, okay, cool. But then I realized I could not continue to date her because I would never be happy because that's one of my love languages. So I was like, God, I don't want to date someone that I can't get a gift for. That's weird. That's suspicious. I was like, and it's funny because I think they were looking at me like, that's weird. That's suspicious. Cardi B face, right? So anyway, so with Moon being like, oh my gosh, she was like thanking me, and she was like, every single thing is so pertinent. And at some moment she cried real tears because I had channeled correctly that this would be poignant for her. There was something she opened that was like number 10, and it was supposed to be open in the succession, but she went to it and it was perfect because then she took a break and came back, and it was such a cool thing. Go see it, it's cool. But at that moment when she opened the thing, she literally like broke down, and my angels told me she would. They said this is going to mean something to her because this is when we began working with her. That's what they said. This is when we really had begun to work with her, and she didn't understand it. She thought it was just, she was playing a video game, and we were literally rearranging and rewiring her brain and getting her to understand how you build things so that she could do it in this, kind of like alternate reality, and then bring it into the 5D and then down to the 3D and build an actual community of what she's doing currently. And that's what that garden tool was about. Top-notch hoes get the most, not the lesser. That part. So I was so happy to watch her do this. But she's saying things like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and like, oh my gosh, you gifted this thing and it's great and whatever. And I'm saying that because these were all things this person was like, if I could say that there was anything that this girl was masterful at, it was withholding. It was like, it was toxic withholding. It wasn't, I never expected her to match me dollar for dollar. I'm talking about the Fae. No, not Moon. Okay, Moon is, y'all can clearly see, Moon is a rocket ship in the night, in flight. I love this girl. She's amazing. But the Fae did a thing that I never really had happen before. I've had people be toxic. I've dealt with a silent treatment or 3 from a narcissist. I think we've all been down these streets. Y'all know my story. Y'all know I've been in a cult. Y'all know. If this is your first time watching me, you're getting a mouthful and an earful. You're getting to know me, getting to know all about me. So I've fought my way out and clawed my way out of a lot of toxic, subversive, suppressive situations. I've never dated anybody that was as toxic in the way that she was ever. And that's saying something. How you win? How you gonna win when you ain't right with it? But at my big ass age, that was a first for me. I was in shock by how toxic she could be. And I realized that a lot of it came from just outside of her too, meaning she was very influenced and easily influenced. And I thought, God, you're not a leader. Moon's a leader. She's not a leader. You know, that part. But in any case, you know, we all like figure our stuff out. Maybe we are dispatched in to help people in different ways. I imagine she'll reflect at later days about our encounter and realize where she fucked up, and maybe she'll course correct if she's not a real sociopath. Who knows? Funsies. I guess she'll find that out for herself. But I'm never going to find out and circle back, and no blacksmith's happening here. But in any case, she was saying all these really validating things because this girl would go out of her way to toxically withhold. And like I said, I didn't expect her to match me dollar for dollar, dime for dime. That's not the time I'm on, ever. I have been dirt ass, broke, poor, impoverished. And so what I have in my life now is not the top of the heap at all. But I certainly have climbed out from the bottom of the pit. And so I have compassion and an understanding about anybody at any varying line of socioeconomic thing. Because I have worked where people pay me $3 an hour, y'all. Okay? So I know what it is to be looking at your bank. Like, is it going to be a withdrawal? Am I going to get another stuff? How am I going to make it work? Like, I get that. So I never expect anybody that I soulmate date or that I'm friends with to match me. Even friends, like I've had friends that have been in 6 figures plus, you know, but I don't expect that. I give because I truly genuinely want to give. But where you can give, I do expect that. And there were lots of areas, even that didn't breach her boundaries, because you're allowed to have boundaries where she could have given, where she purposely held back. And that's what I mean by toxic withholding, because it was even outside of what was discussed or whatever. She would like look for ways to just be cruel, is what I felt like, when she could have just withdrawn completely, because that would have been probably more appropriate if you can't meet any needs. Like if you can't do anything and you're making all these excuses and you have all these weird demands. I mean, where do they do that at? And where would you ever have done that at? And in your life, could you have ever done that? And anybody else you ever dated, did they ever do that? No. And I even asked her and she said so. So it was like something she specifically was directing at me. And that's when you're dealing with archon demonic energy. Sometimes the faces change, guys. I say it all the time, but the behavior's the same. And if it lines up, then you are dealing with some kind of demonic, maybe infiltration of someone who wants to take you out in a different way. She came in as sweet and as light as a little fairy, truly. And she was maniacal and diabolical and fucking cruel and mean and purposely. And she felt entitled to do it. And they said, good, we'll work on her entitlement. That'll be lessons for her. But in me watching the unboxing that happened with Moon, I felt like it was like, they're like, this is how people usually are. This is what it's like to meet your real tribe. This is what it will feel like. Now, I've met real tribe before and other people that are amazing. You guys have heard me talk about them here. So it's not to say that this was a first, but that was a perfect pivotal. It was like they let her step in to heal the way that I described it to her when I thanked her, I said, it was like you were a surgeon, a spiritual surgeon who removed the last bits of the emotional shrapnel that I had. Because I thought I was fine. Like, I was like, I hate her. I don't like her. I'm going to move on. Lesson learned, I cut it off. It worked out excellent. You know, right before she really wanted to crank up the abuse, my angels were like, do you see this shit? And I was like, I know, I see, I'm out of here. And so I was like, this is perfect. I'm fine. I did it. And then I had other demons to slay this year. So I was not worried about this girl at all. But right around the anniversary of when I made that video, which I had completely even forgot about, this is when all of this comes to be, because the angels have never once, not one time, lied to me. And they told me they had like a big surprise for me if I made it a year and really stuck to the Great Fairy Escape. And what they did was they sent in a starseed, a teacher, and an amazing human to literally be in my face, showing me the kind of gratitude that I had almost like worked for, which was crazy to me, because I don't think anybody that she's ever dated has worked for shit for her, really. And really tried to show her love. Like, I was working to show her love. Empaths, you know how we love. You know that when we love people, sometimes it's like they never really been loved. Like, they've been loved when we love them. That's why it was so beautiful when Moon said, I feel sedated with love. Because my angel said, that girl also felt sedated with love, and she went out of her way to give you her ass to kiss, because she was inundated with the way that you were loving her, and she never experienced anything like it. Sis, that's what my angel said to me. There was one point where Moon, this is what I'm talking about, she looked right through me, and I was like, ooh. She holds up Froggy, which is her animal totem and her spiritual totem, and she says, Froggy thinks she has an admirer. It was so interesting to watch her do it, because what she did was she was kind of calling me out. She was like, oh my gosh, I have an admirer. But then she didn't want to make it first person. She was like, she's conscious and aware. So she made it about Froggy. But also she was looking straight. When I say straight in the camera, sometimes when you're recording, guys, it's hard to remember where you're looking into the camera. That's why you see all YouTubers looking everywhere. And so it was really interesting, because she was like, Froggy has an admirer. And it was like, in that moment, she understood how much I do admire and value her. It wasn't in any way, as we've already described, you know, me more cougar, less young folk for sure. But, and also, I don't see her that way. I really actually just think she's brilliant, really. I am stimulated by people that have minds. I think it's fantastic. And I love that her readings are so diverse. In any case, so she does that though, and in that moment it was like an intersplice, and the energy, my angel said, right as she's holding up Froggy, my angel said to me, you put too much power in that Fae's hands, and we wanted you to see it this way. When Moon is saying Froggy has an admirer and she's just being kind of lighthearted, my angels kicked in and said, as soon as that girl knew that you were fixated on her and that you liked her, that you were an admirer, she felt so powerful and got a big head. And people that are not tempered and put through trials don't know what to do with that kind of power when an angel says they love you. And so what they will do is it will show the truth of their personality. Will they try to steal from you? Body snatch, destiny swap? Will they lie to you? Will they abuse you? Will they withhold from you because they want to keep you around? Because they like the fact that you're feeding their ego and they're siphoning and like that, like off of your energy, but they don't want to have engaged in any kind of reciprocity, which would have made it a fair transaction. Our relationships are at times transactional. And so I wasn't like, match me this for this, but what she could give, she purposely went out of her way to craftily withhold, gaslight, lie. And I called her on it right from the beginning. So guys, I understood, but I was, you know, in the undertow of someone with 4 Scorpios in their chart and in their Venus and their moon specifically, which means I was in it was wobbly for me. It was such an unnerving experience because I'm so crystal clear, and I knew I was right from the beginning. I called her right out from the beginning, like, what are you doing here? Like, what is this? And she was gaslighting and whatever, and then I would watch her limerence, like Shere Khan, I described it in one of my videos, other people, and I was like, wow, this tricky bitch, she does this all the time. She's a fucking problem, for real. And so, and has problems, for real, because, wow. And what happens when you're a pure soul, like Moon, I'm not saying Moon's perfect, but what I'm saying is that she's a pure channel and she's a pure soul. She was able to self-regulate her emotions. At one point, she did say, because I'm very honest, I always talk about that I'm a projector, I let people know, and I wrote her a letter. She reads a letter at the end of it if you want to hear what I wrote her. But I wrote her a letter, and I said, I'm a projector, so I have to wait for the invitation. So I didn't send this to you until you asked for help with something, and then I could send it to you. And in it, she stops and she says, wow, this girl knows herself. This woman knows who she is. She said, because I physically had to take a break, and Moon is fantastic with communication, which was great. So she emailed me halfway through the opening process. She was like, I was so like blown away, like in a childlike excitement, that I wore myself out and I actually fell asleep, and I only opened half of it, but I'm going to continue to open the next half of it, and then I'm going to edit everything and send you the link when I do, which she did. She's true to her word. God bless this girl. But she communicated with me like an adult when my energy, which can be as a projector overwhelming, overwhelmed her. It wasn't that I was trying to hurt her or injure her, but sometimes when you over inundate someone with love, they can't feel like, whoo. Well, maybe that may have been an emotion that the Fae felt, is what my angel said, but she was immature. So immature with her communication. So she, like, the worst communication of anybody I've ever soulmate dated or been friends with or anything, y'all. Like, worst communication, bar none, stamp it. Like, if I die tomorrow, she won, okay? She won something, but that was something that Moon, because she is healthy, because she goes out and does yoga, because she balances, because she's not practicing, you know, over excessive escapism in whatever degree, she was able to say, hey, that's a lot of energy, even if it's great energy, right? Who doesn't want a gift? And she loves gifts, and she says she loves gifts. She welcomed it. She had her P.O. Box and her things there for a reason, right? But she was self-regulating and autonomous, and 20 years difference to this woman that I was actually seeing versus who I consider, no offense, Moon, if you watch this, you are, to me, are, like a young lady to me. And so I was like, wow, the maturity on this girl to be like, hey, I got exhausted from all the love. And so I took a nap. I was sedated with the love and I went to sleep. But I'm going to get back to you and I'm going to recoup it and not complain about what you did. Like, oh, this is too much, so I had to go to sleep. Like, it wasn't that. And it was my angel showing me. But anyway, that part about when the woman realized, the Fae, when the Fae realized that I loved her, or that I cared about her, and that I admired her, and that I could see potential in her, be careful of that potential word, she was corrosive with it. Right in the beginning of us dating, I said to her, listen, I can tell how your energy could be like the ring and how could people get very attached to you. And my angels cautioned me to let you go if I ever felt like I wanted to hold on tighter because of whatever reason. Because you're supposed to flit around this world and sprinkle your fairy dust and magic and energy. This is when I still had a great affinity for her. So I was seeing her projecting my spirituality onto her and my rose-colored glasses. I'm going to be so honest and take full accountability. So I said that to her right at the beginning, before we ever exchanged a cuddle, a hug, and nothing. I said to her, listen, I can already tell what you coming with. I can already tell how intoxicated I almost feel. I know what that Scorpio energy in your chart does. I do this in real life. I read astrology. I teach this all the time. So I said, we're going to drive slow home. In fact, before I really even let her in, I would be like, oh, I don't do well with Scorpio energy, My twin's karmic was a Scorpio, so I learned so much about it when I was in battle with those crazy folks, the toxic little terrible twins. And so I specifically said to her, like, I don't think I want to do this with you, like, I really like you, but I don't really want to, like, do this with you because I already know how this is going to go, and I don't want to be caught up in the undertow of Scorpionic energy, guys. I teach about it here on my channel. And she would be like, no, come out and play. Like, I just want to, like, lay in the sun. Like, like, usually Scorpios would be under a rock or something. But, you're such a Leo sun. And I just want to, like, lay in your sun. Girl, the way that, like, she just hit all the buttons, man. It was so emotionally manipulative in the best way. I liked it, okay? So I'm not going to lie about how it went down. But even my higher self, I'm looking at her like, I should run. I'm not going to do this. But my lower self, that lower self be lower. I got to have that dog in me too, like anybody else. And I was like, fuck, I know I should not touch this at all because it's going to be explosive for me, and Scorpionic energy becomes all fucking consuming. And 4 placements in her chart, she was more Scorpio than she was her sun sign. But the sun sign came in play too with the indecision and the fuckery and the chaos making of the lower vibrational side of that too. She was a mess, such a mess for me. But in that moment, that's when I told her about the ring, and I was like, girl, if I ever feel like you're the ring, because everybody thinks they're going to do good when they get the ring, then they get it, then they act up. And here's the flipping reversing angels did. When Moon held up that Froggy and was like, oh, Froggy has an admirer, and I felt like she was looking through my soul, and I was like, I do admire you, but it's not like that. But actually, this is actually about the Fae. You don't realize it, but it's okay. Like, I was like, trying to like say it all in my mind. When she held up that Froggy, they said the Fae was on demon time. The second she felt like she had your attention like that, she was like, I'm gonna do any fucking thing. Like, literally, Rick James, fuck your couch. That's my best description for narcissists. Habitual line steppers. So she was just like trampling over me, like she was doing like river dances. She was Irish, okay? She was like, I was like, oh my god, the Russian Ruskies. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy work. And because I was in the undertow, I had to like figure my way out. That's why I named the video I made a year ago The Great Fairy Escape, because I was like, fuck. I did this and they told me not to. My angels did. They was like, in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, when he was like, don't stop, wait, don't touch it. Like, and he's acting really laissez-faire because he knows the kids aren't going to listen. That's how my angels did me. They were like, no, stop, wait, she's evil. I was like, and I was a Gustus Gloop. I was like, what do you get when you guzzle down sweets? Eating as much as an elephant eats. Like, I was like, I don't care. Sing all the songs, Oompa Loompas. I'm going for it. Oh, fucking mess, y'all. What a mess. You gotta own your shit, right? So when she holds up that Froggy, it was the first time I had that revelation about that. I knew she had a big head and was weirdly entitled when she shouldn't be, and dating had never gone like this before, and whatever the case may be, and people were not this kind and whatever, because of her own stories, not because of what I just was reading, but I was also reading deeper than what she was telling me. So I was like, I know what real pain is up underneath there, but I never talked to her about it because she wasn't ready to, no invitation, so I didn't do that work. That's what I was dispatched in to do, but that didn't happen. And so I just was like, okay, but I can see the truth, but okay, we'll do it your way. And that was it. So guys, pay attention when people get your energy and they start treating you like shit. When they think that they've got you and they think that you are going to be forever betrothed to them, and they think that you are just so obsessed with them. Because when I love someone, listen, watch that girl unbox it. She's a perfect stranger. And you would not think that we did not know each other. But that's because I'm working with a spiritual realm that gets to the heart and insides of folks as they allow me to and as I'm dispatched to. It's not because I know Moon and I grew up with him. I don't know Moon. It's a parasocial relationship. But that's the work that I do, like I said, when I'm reading for you or if I'm friends with you. And that's why it was so offensive how she was behaving, because I did know her. And I did spend time with her. And I did spend hours and hours chatting with her and talking with her and hearing her stories as she spent time listening to mine too. So for her to behave like it was inconsequential and it was run of the mill and she could get it anywhere, they said that's the evil work that demons do. Because this is how people really react when they run into the likes of you, empath, earth angel, light worker. They are effusively delighted. Even if they got to take a break, they're like, oh my God, for goodness sake, this touched my heart. I'm buzzing. I feel good. These are all words that Moon had said throughout that video to a certain degree. There's another part though, which was healing that part of the Fae with me, where she said, gang, get you a girlfriend. Now, Moon, spoiler alert, Moon is a beautiful part of the LGBTQIA community. And the angel specifically had me edify some things in there. What I didn't say to Moon is that there's a huge future for her regarding it. She said it herself. As a projector, I have to wait. I have to wait until people get it themselves first, because it can sometimes scare people, the things that I will see. And so I specifically was guided to get her things. And she says it herself as she holds up a shirt that she felt called to do a thing. And they'd already given me a download, which I'll privately share with her, but about her life and work with the LGBTQIA. And it was so beautiful because in that video, if you watch any of her previous videos, in that video, you see her kind of just really blossom and open up. And she's always very clear about the fact that she is gay. But she was talking about being at a lesbian club and talking, and then like at one point she's like, oh, I'm gonna call somebody. And I was like, that Moon's got that dog in her, and I love to see it, man. She's got that dog in her in the best way. I'm not, no offense to anyone that's ever been played by a dog. Moon's a cosmic dog, so she's taming her inner player, but she a player in her own way. I see her always. But the other thing too that I see in her is that she's doing things integrally and she's moving respectfully. God bless to whomever is lucky enough to encounter her energy, because she up levels. That's the same thing you do, guys. That's what I want you to know. It's not just about Moon. You up level people too when you're dating them. You change lives when you're dating people. I change lives when I'm dating people. And so the ingratitude, which is just something I cannot tolerate. My Leo sun side, that's like literally my kryptonite, is ungratefulness. You don't have to tell me. You can say thank you and still show me you're ungrateful. And that's why she was not confused. She's like, but I said thank you, but then you acted like an asshole. So that part. So she was like, get you a girlfriend, gang, because women are so thoughtful, which is what I tell you. Like I said, having dated women primarily most of my life, some of your best relationships will be with women. It doesn't mean that my husband isn't thoughtful and he doesn't have moments, but it is to say that I would not have reconfigured my marriage in a certain way that I did if I felt fully fulfilled in just that dynamic with my husband. I didn't, because men don't necessarily do that. You have to, there are some out there that are very sweet and thoughtful all of the time, and I'm sure the TikTok ones will show you that, you know. I'm not on TikTok, so I wouldn't know, but usually, and it could just be because on my Kinsey scale, I just slide that way. I'm definitely more, I would say more gay than I am straight. However, my experience is more with women, so I just know. We'll get you a girlfriend. And when she said that, I felt so seen. I felt so seen, because that's how I love people, you know? And I love that with one gift and one encounter, she could read all of this energy, and I'm like, I was dating a whole ass person and was treating me terribly and acting like she couldn't understand while she was claiming, you know, her own version of pansexuality or whatever. And I was like, girl, you might want to check that on the Kinsey scale, because I don't think you got any of that anywhere, because I couldn't see it. You know, just because you've slept with girls doesn't mean you really love women. That part, there's a difference. And the way that Moon said to get you a girlfriend gang, she loves women. I love to see that for her, but she understood. She understood the assignment, and she understood what assignment I was given to kind of create a magical moment for her, to speak to her heart in a way that I didn't even know that I would do. And that's just a straight up honest truth. So she said that, and she said a few other things. Anyway, y'all just watch the video, but it just healed things. It was there was one more thing that I will touch on. She said, I just want to jump on a plane and, you know, come give you a hug or something to that nature. That girl specifically played weird mind games with affection. And it's probably the first time I've really articulated like that, because, you know, I was just going through it, so I wasn't going to share it here. But it's over, and we put it to bed fully, and the surgeons operated. The last bits of shrapnel are out. Thank you, Moon. But she was weird. Like, she came in promising the moon and the stars, and gave some stars and a couple of moons, a fragment of the moon, but then started to get really on that power trip with I'm thinking Moon flying up saying, I've got an admirer, right? Or Froggy has an admirer. As soon as she thought I was her admirer, then she thought the power dynamic shifted, and she forgot an earth angel was dispatched in, a high priestess was dispatched in, someone with real experience with shaman work was dispatched in, someone that carries Empress energy and Venusian energy, even though it was ruled by her sun sign Venusian energy. I do traffic in Venusian energy, and there will be a certain level of energy and respect that you give to me, and she knew it. I will never forget one of our first meetings where we finally met up. I don't know, maybe the first or second. It was our second one, I think. And we were in a cold climate. We'd rented this huge Escalade, big body Escalade, and I was on the passenger seat. And we were going to I had a friend that was living out in the Midwest, and I wanted to take her a housewarming gift. So I went to a sporting goods store to get her some of those outdoor rocking chairs. And this woman, because she understood exactly the energy that I trafficked in, and please do not think this cocky, but you need to know who you are, because people try to treat you differerly, and that's why I love, because I was like, you've lost your fucking mind. I don't know who you think you are. But she literally almost pulled up into the store. It was Bass Pro Shop or some kind of store like that, an Outdoor World or something like that. She literally pulled up almost to the place where they have those concrete barriers, and it wasn't like pull up on the side of the street and get out, you know. Did I have a cane at that time? I think, yeah, remember guys, I went through a lot of surgeries and all that stuff, so I think I was still on my cane at that time. And so maybe she was trying to be helpful in that way, you know. She was very much, you know, sweet and emotionally available, even though she's still playing mind games even in that moment. But she pulled up not just akimbo or parallel to, but in almost a diagonal fashion, look, she was going to drive into the store. It was so alarming that the manager came out, because he was like, what is going on? And she literally says, I'm just dropping off a queen. She's big love bomb, big anarchy energy now that I think about it, because how you know I'm a queen then, but you were trying to treat me like a peasant. And now that's what you were going to be relegated to, that part. I'm just saying, y'all, that's not ego. That's just a mother cracking truth. Because if she knew, even though that was weird, and not weird, but it was sweet, a gesture, whatever. I didn't make any judgments about it at the time, but I reflected back on it. Another thing, don't she mad? I said, you're weird. You are. It was weird. I reflected back on it, and I remember oh, funny how she knew exactly who I was and the energy that I trafficked in, because she was trying to pretty much drive into the store because she wanted to drop off a queen, right? And I believe we're all queens and kings out here outside in these cosmic streets, all goddesses in whatever way. But she then went out of her way, I think probably because she was intimidated, to try to undermine and diminish the energy. And that's a thing called negging that people do that are insecure or toxic, you name it, is they will see your beauty or your magic or your whatever, and then be jealous of what she was. Because we went to single black female. It didn't even stay on just some negging, I'm a toxic person you're dating. It turned into, I want to morph into you. And there was a funny thing she did. She tried to declaw me. I remember I took her on a cruise, and I remember that she was trying to be judgy about my nails. Y'all know I love my nails, right? And I learned to really do them in the panorama. That was my little gift that I learned, is how to do my nails. So I hand do and hand glue each jewel and all the gels, and I figured it all out, right? Because we couldn't go anywhere. So I'm kind of crafty gal, so I figured it out. And at first she was super complimentary about my nails. Her nails are amazing. I love your nails. They're works of art. You should frame them. You post them on the Instagrams. And then she was like, are you insecure? Is that why you wear makeup and nail? This bitch. Oh, y'all, I've never really dated anybody like this. Okay, and I've dated some toxic people. Okay, again, been in a cult, and I have never really come across a character like this. But she was like, oh, it was just like classic jealousy. Now that I think about it, like Mean Girl jealousy in a way. And so she was like, oh, are you insecure? Is that why you wear makeup? And oh, I really love naked nail beds. Well, TMI, y'all. Let me just tell you what it is. Because we were dealing with each other. I was like, maybe she doesn't like the nails because, like sexy time and stuff. And I understand that. So maybe for her, I'll take the nails off if that's the direction we're moving. And we're still seeing each other at the time, right? I hadn't gone there yet. But I was like, maybe that's what's happening. And she's whatever. And that's just what it is. I was thinking that, but really she just wanted to declaw me because by the time it was over, she was learning how to do nails. All of a sudden she wanted to wear nails and not just smear her makeup on, but try to figure out what it was. And I gave her palettes and all that stuff because I don't gatekeep and I'm not a hater. But what do I always tell y'all in the collective? You have the sauce and the dressing. That's just it. People can try to copy you. Many will copy and try to imitate, but they cannot actually replicate what it is that you do. Good luck, though. Good luck trying, and good for you. I don't own nails. There's a million people in the world that wear nails. However, it was her specific attack on it. As a Leo, I felt really much like she tried to declaw me. Like when you cut the claws out the cat, I said, oh, this one's got to go. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Never, no. Okay. Anyway, so that was TMI, but y'all get what I'm saying. So she understood who I was, but went out of her way to be different. So that withholding of her energy that she could give in certain ways and coming up with all these like configurations instead of just calling a thing. Sometimes you're not attracted to someone and that is super okay. But my angels told me that's not what this is at all. This is power play. This is drama. This is chaos. This is anarchy because she loves it. I'm channeling Ricky Bobby, that movie where the kid's like, it's anarchy and I love it. That was her. That was her energy. And I thought, God, I felt so sorry for her for the sob story she told me and the horrible things that are happening in her dating life. And I was channeling Taylor Swift. It's you. You're the problem. It's you. Because I was like, oh, even if that person really was a narcissist and I can't discount that, or if that person was abusive and I can't discount that, when she would tell me stories about how people would say, you create all these problems in our relationship. She was in a polyamorous relationship and she was like, they were saying that she was the problem and trying to like outcast her. And I was like, thinking, not my sweet fairy. She was the fucking problem. We were not in a polyamorous relationship. I was very focused on her. I'm not polyamorous. I know it sounds confusing. I'm not. But she had my undivided attention. But somehow I didn't have her undivided attention. Somehow she loved threes. So what I will tell you is watching Moon do this beautiful unboxing healed me because she weirdly spoke to so many of the themes. Weirdly, and probably very purposely guided by her angels, she spoke to all these themes that were happening. Moon was just saying things lighthearted. She's not hopping on a plane. We're never going to meet. That's not what was happening. But what did happen was she was channeling the pain that I went through at the beginning and the whole year before last or whatever when I was seeing this person. And she was cleaning it up. And that was what my angels had promised me would happen at the anniversary of me figuring out how to get away from this person. It's not when I left her was the anniversary. It's when I decided in my mind, it's no more Fae demon time. I'm over it. And my angels never lied. They said it was going to be an explosive big thing, like a birthday, like a celebration. They showed me confetti in my channeling and they said, we are going to celebrate you when you finally have broke free of this and you learn the lesson. And that's why I could reflectively say how incredibly toxic she was. I might have tap danced around it and tiptoed around it previously, but when I watch how when a real tribe person meets you, a real person that matches your energy, how easy it is. This girl made it, this grown-ass woman made it so difficult, whilst lying to me the whole time that she could make it easier, that she'd made it easy for others, or that she loves easy and she knows how to make easy be easier and whatever. And all she did was muck up things and make it difficult, or allow her meddling ass mother to muck it up. You meddling kids, I'm chilling Scooby-Doo. Yeah, her mother definitely was behind the culprit mask for sure, but allowed that to mess it up, and she wanted a fun story to tell. And this is what I always tell you guys on this channel. When someone stops being someone that I want to deliciously incubate and actually enjoy, whether it's a friendship, a lovership, a soulmate, datership, whatever, and they start being more of someone, I start thinking about, how can I teach this to the collective without ruining their anonymity? That's when I know I'm over whatever the situation is. And she had betrayed and abandoned our privacy long before I left. She had made me the fun and the fodder, the story, and the butt of the joke. Joke's on you. Ha ha, joke's on you. High five. I'm bulletproof. Real talk. So my angels clocked it and they're like, you got to get out of here. This girl doesn't like you. In fact, she wants to just tear you down, and then she wants to be you. She hopes that you actually like off yourself so that she can then become you, because she did not have her own identity. That was not something that she was good at. It was very some single black female shit, which I didn't think. I really didn't think. But it wasn't. Finally, I'd already made my peace with it again. Like I said, other demons to slay this year besides her, so I was dealing with a lot. But when I watched Moon open that box, my angel said, you see, this is what we were trying to tell you the whole time. This is how easy it will be. Moon, again, just a figurehead here, and a person, again, that I will not ever know or meet in real life. You know, it's a parasocial connection. However, they said that any future tribes, women or men, tribes friends, tribes soulmate daters, tribes lovers, tribes, you know, sisters, brothers, whatever comes in for you, if they're not giving you the same energy, then you now have a litmus test and a visual representation and documentation of what it looks like when people are grateful for you, what it looks like when people see you, what it looks like when people know. She said so many sweet things like, I know you're a real channeler, like you couldn't have known this, like I'm blown away. Like that's the same level of energy that I give to everybody, including people that I date. This is just a perfect stranger who I am proud of, and I'm like wishing her well. That was like my equivalent of sending my real life cousins boxes of the best top ramen and Oreos to their dorm. Like, I'm that auntie, you know? If I think you're doing a good job, I'm going to reward you because that's how I say I love you. But I was in this thing with this person who was just a total head fuck and was trying to undermine my very giving nature. And that's the thing that I want to caution you against, empaths. Sometimes these narcissists come in and they want to leave you bitter so that you never give again, so that you never love again. Fuck that. I'm always going to give. I'm always going to love again. I don't care how many archons and demons and people I have to slay. I'm always going to go on to love another day. That's just my sun sign. That's just the way I do. That's in my chart. That's in my Akashic records. Not even the most creepy of tarantula pink-toed fae could get it out of me. Not even the most hater of toxic terrorist ass twin could get it out of me. Not even the most betrayer of ex-friend could get it out of me. I'm still gonna love people totally and completely. But there's something in the reaction of, also she didn't like we were long distance, and because I was going to say something in the reaction of people that open packages. As a giver, I don't, again, what I receive is just like, I'm just joyful and happy. And when people act like what I've given them, physical thing, if it's a physical thing, okay, because I give advice too. But if people act like what I've given them is, I don't expect you to do what Moon did. She is the like golden exception that I don't think anybody could ever top. But just a thank you is really what I'm looking for at the end of the day. Just like a sincere thank you. I can tell when your heart's in it. There have been several times where I've gifted people. Like, that has been the ending of a lot of relationships for me, is people that have been ungrateful for gifts. I had someone that was ungrateful for, like, an espresso machine or something, and my toxic twin, I remember I talked about it in one of my videos. I had gifted her, like, a settee that she had wanted that was perfect for her little sitting smoking room. And when people are ungrateful for me like that, that's it. It's game over for me, because it's like a microcosm of much larger things in the relationship that probably I have been suppressing, but because that's my kryptonite trigger, then I'm over it. Then I'm like, I really don't like you, actually. And that's it. Like, I don't know why that does it for me. Everybody's different, but for me, it does it. And so it was really funny because I could reflectively see how those things kind of happen. And so Moon's reaction, again, she's on Mount Rushmore for me. I don't know. I don't think anybody could top it. Because the reason it's so powerful for me, because it was so organic, because she doesn't know me, because she didn't have to act like that. She didn't have to do it. We were long distance, and I, in the beginning, was like, oh, I would love to be not necessarily on FaceTime with you, but even on the phone with you when you open the gifts and whatever. And I remember one Christmas specifically, I sent her stuff, and I just want us to have like our private moment. We were actually actively dating and liking each other and saying so and being sweet and cutesy and wootsy and cupcaking. And she was like, no, I have to wait for my mom to be able to open the gifts. Well, there were some, like, you know, spicier gifts in there and stuff like that. Or one thing that was a little more spicy. And I knew her mom was conservative, so I didn't want to, like, offend. Even though I knew, well, I don't know if I understood then. I think she told her mom about, well, it's funny. You know what's so funny? As much as her mom sabotaged it, right in the beginning of it, her mom, I think, was clocking me right from the beginning, and she was like, I've never seen her act like this. You're like really her soulmate. I've never seen her be so happy. I've never seen her be so happy or have a Christmas like this, because her mom did get to watch the Christmas. She waited. I've never dated somebody where we couldn't have a like private moment, whether we lived long distance or close together. But she waited because she wanted her mom. And I had sent gifts for her mother specifically, so it wasn't like her mom would have been left out of the fun. I am a very gracious gracious giver that way, and thoughtful. Like, I think about people's parents and all the rest of it, and I knew her situation, so I was like, okay, I got you, no worries. And I was so shocked by that. It's the first that's ever happened to me, and I thought it was, to me it was immature, but maybe for her it's normal, you know, like whatever, you know, like that's her world, who knows. And I don't want to no matter how much she hated on me, I don't want to like hate on that. I can see the toxicity, but that was just a strange encounter for me. I was like, we can't just have a private like just a couple of 3 things that you open, like whatever. And then she started to be like, I don't really like doing, like, I don't like do, like, she was mean about it. Like, I'm just gonna leave it there, guys. She was like, she essentially told me like, I don't want to open the gifts with you, or I don't need to be there when you open the gifts, or like if she would give me something, she purposely, it's like anything that made me happy, she went out of her way to to whatever. I remember once dating someone before her. Oh, y'all, the soulmate dating has been rough. I remember dating someone before her, a stud this time, and she gave me flowers. And she would give me flowers often, and every time she would give them to me, I would smell them, different person. She was a djinn, not a fairy. I've dated all of the crazy archons, okay? But she was a djinn, a whole ass tricky genie. And but not near as toxic. Her toxicity was easy and clear and to see, and I was able to get out of that much more quickly. This one was more insidious, the second one, the fae. So she gave me roses, and I smelled them, and I was like, and then she was mean about it. She was like, why are you so happy? Why are you smelling them like that? How come you have to act like that when I give Yo, if people act like that, break up with them. I once heard Jennifer Lewis talk about how she was like talking about how a tree was beautiful. She was driving down the road with this dude she was seeing, and he got mad at her because she was talking about how beautiful this tree was. And she broke up with him immediately after because she was like, that dude didn't want me to be happy. That ninja didn't want my happiness. Why would I want to continue to date him? Get away from people that don't want to see you happy. So it was like she had figured out what would make me happy, which is like, I love it unboxing. I loved sharing the moment with you. That's why, but I didn't ask him for that. And that's what made it even more special. She is so just raised well, a good soul, and she volunteered it. She emailed me. She's like, I'm going to open and unbox it. I'm going to record it, and I'm going to send you the link. Like, the thoughtfulness. She will forever have my respect for that alone. If she did nothing else, which she did so much, that alone was so freaking thoughtful, but also exactly my love language and how I could receive the love. So it's not an ounce of love was wasted or spilled on the floor. I soaked in every drop because she was speaking directly to the way that I like to deal when I'm dealing with, especially gifting and saying thank you or whatever the case may be, or I see you or whatever. But this girl had gone on her way, and by the end of it, gifts were not a big deal. And it was so funny. She had done something at one point. We went to see The Lion King on Broadway, and then she had included inside of the package some autographs that she got from a Nico. On my channel years ago, I talked about a Nico, and this is when she was initially like stalking me like prey, and she was very lit up by it. So then she started, anything that's a little razzle dazzle or flash, she's a perpetual groupie is what I could say. So she went to all of Nico's concerts and purposely met her and had sent me like an autograph and a whole moment and recorded it and all of that stuff, and it was really sweet. But I missed it because she had put such a damper on opening gifts and receiving and sharing the energy. She was like being mean about it essentially. So I just stopped, like any person, like, I'm not gonna beg you to do this. So I had organically, it wasn't like I was being a jerk or anything. I just didn't wait for her or do any of the things I would do with anyone else that I love and care about, a perfect fucking stranger, for example. And I missed it. And I could tell she was hurt and offended because she had gone out of this way to stalk a Nico and get her information and be in her energy and space so that she could kind of impress me. And it was really sweet, and send me something that a Nico signed. It was sweet. Like, Faye on Demon Time for sure, but I could see, as a thoughtful person, I know the thought that went into that. I also know the psychosis that went into it too, but I missed it. So instead of us having a magical moment, like I always love to do and normally do with anybody, especially someone long distance, instead, it was like something that I just didn't even realize it happened. And then she was like, oh, you didn't see that, like, I had attached this and did this and done that. No, because we weren't on the phone to do it together. And we weren't doing what is a normal thing because you acted like you were put upon to do that. And it was too much for you. And it was weird to you. So then it was weird for me too. That part, match people's energy. People don't want you to match their energy. They're looking at you crazy. I was like, ma'am, you're the one who poo-pooed my little happy tradition of let's share this moment. And as soon as I see you're not into it, then I'm off of it. Trust me, forever. What did Cardi say? If we beefing, we beefing forever. Okay? So Moon even doing that and volunteering it, and she doesn't know me. I'm a perfect stranger. And that's why I keep harping on this, guys, because the fact that I was dating someone and sharing time and energy and laying in a bed with someone, and they laying in a bed with someone when the sanctions were lifted, and they couldn't understand the way that I like to gift or be gifted. That's a simple thing. It's a simple thing, and I'm real clear about it right away. And that Moon just used her channeling nature to figure it out. Never has met me, never will meet me, never laid eyes on me. And she did the most thoughtful things. I've had besties that have not been that perceptively thoughtful. I've had to teach them, of course, yes, and that's fine. But all I'm saying is, like, there are real, true, divine alignments for you. Moon is, again, parasocial friend, grateful for the experience, love her, gonna support her, go follow her channel, all that stuff, if you're into readings, okay? But it was such a powerful, overarching lesson about how you don't have to force anything when you're with your cosmic, brethren, essentially, with your cosmic family. And if it's on the romantic side, like I'm talking about with the Fae, you don't have to force things. For those of you, I do so many love readings, right? And it's ironic. I do so many love readings. And I don't get insight sometimes into my life. Sometimes I just got to pray for guidance, and the angels always send it. But what I learned in this is that it's so easy when it's right. Meaning other connections that have come into my life subsequently or before I cut these other people off. Just friends, just platonic friends. But it's just easy. We fall in sync. We're happy to talk to each other. We're grateful for each other. There's an expression of gratitude. And it's not love bombing. It's the real thing. And that is what this unboxing brought to me. That's what it did bring, was an absolute clarity about just how toxic that girl really went out of her way to be. Even though, again, I had emotionally really put it mostly to bed because I was like, ugh, yes, I got out of that. Thanks. But the angel said, we made a promise to you, sis. We said, if you did it, that we had something incredibly expressive and magical to give back to you, which was the beautiful gratitude that came through Moon. I couldn't make it up. We couldn't have orchestrated it any better. The synchronicity was sizzling. It was amazing. And that's what happens when you meet your cosmic tribe and your brethren and your sisters and your cosmic nieces and nephews. She a niece and a nephew to me. I embrace and love her duality, but I also see that it was a life lesson for me that you never have to force any kind of connection with anybody. If they want to, they will. And they will think of things before you even ask for it. I'm going to leave you with this for those of you that are thinking about relationship. Let's pivot away from thank you, Moon, but I want to talk to you that are dealing with relationship. I think about Serena and her husband right now, currently. Serena's husband dated a beautiful black woman prior to dating Serena. In fact, he broke up with the black woman to date Serena. A scandalo there, okay? And she's a doctor, or going to be a doctor, or whatever. In any case, she's a doctor currently. But she was gorgeous, and he didn't celebrate, or she was gorgeous. Or I believe Serena may have been raised. Is she Jehovah's Witness or something? But she doesn't celebrate birthdays. In any case, this woman would take him on trips for his birthday, do all these amazing things, was his ride or die for 5 years. He's kind of stringing her along. Meets Serena somewhere out of the country, knows for him it's love at first sight. And I'm not going to make judgments on all of the things that happen there, but I'm going to tell you, when someone wants to do it, they'll do it right. And so Serena, who doesn't really celebrate birthdays, all she did for his birthday was give him a call. And he talks about it in books. He talks about it on interviews. It was the sweetest thing someone to do. But that girl before him, that young lady, that powerful, beautiful black doctor, spent thousands of dollars taking him around the world and going on trips and moving. She uprooted herself, moved to where he was at, all of that. He broke up with her like nothing. because the person that he was in love with, he was happily willing to do more than something for. He moved for Serena. He traveled the world for Serena. He did all the things that that girl did for him. And that doesn't mean that she's good or she's bad or he's good. Debatable. We can talk about that another day. But I want to say this to you. When people love you, they'll find a way. And if they want to be uncooperative, they'll find a way too. And that's why that lesson happened with this Fae for me, is because I needed to see that so that I could further teach you, but also for my own future soulmate dating situations, right? I don't want to give away my energy to any degree. That sacral energy is very powerful. And I just really date. There is no consummate until I really feel safe with the person. And so even in this case, in TMI, but that's the real truth. There was, romantic gestures and such, but no sharing of bodily energy for reasons for both of us. And I think that that worked out fantastically, but we dated and had feelings for each other. And no matter how much I wanted to suppress that or she wanted to suppress it, the truth is the truth. But someone who actually cares about you will do what you will anticipate what you need done, will anticipate what makes you happy, will not go out of their way to see you miserable and be mad that you're smelling flowers like the other soulmate person I dated, the other ex. I was mad that I was smelling the fucking roses she gave me, like, wow. So they'll do all the other things to take you on dates too. And I've been dating, so I've been on having some whirlwind dates. It's magical. I've taken people on a few. I've been taken on a few. But the thing that they're going to do for you primarily is the little things that matter to you. And for me, being that we were long distance, it was a little thing to share energy with me. And it was a little thing to not be ungrateful with me. There were some little things that she could have knocked out of the park, but she chose to do differently because I wasn't her person. I imagine for the person that comes into her life, which is absolutely fine, she will find a way to do all of the things and be a wonderful Fae that doesn't try to kill them in the night with her evil ass ways. It just wasn't right for me. And it wasn't right for her either. But here's what you also get to do, guys. You vote with your feet. Don't string people along because you like their energy, because that's going to come back on you badly. Because if an earth angel's dispatching and you're just using them, you're going to pay for that karmically. I was watching her. I was like, is this the hill you want to die on, sis? Because I gave her lots and lots and lots and lots of outs to just be like, hey, if this isn't working, then maybe we don't have to, I kept, literally the prayer I prayed more than I've ever prayed in my life was pass this cup before me. It was all that Scorpio energy. It made me uncomfortable because I knew something was off with her, but I couldn't really wrap my mind around it. And that's what it was, girl. It was a lot. Anyway, I want to say another thank you to Moon, if you're still here. I appreciate you beyond, because you did incredible repair and put a final seal on that fully buried in the ground coffin dead locked away flat screen. I'm so grateful for watching you unbox it and receiving it and not thinking I'm weird and understanding that it was truly dispatching from the angels because they wanted to heal whatever was going on in here for you. And it seems like we had a spiritual work to do. We had an assignment. And this is what it is to meet your soulmates in the cosmos. It's not always romantic and it's not always platonic, but it's always pivotal. It's a tectonic plate shifting and then something is rumbling and something changes. And for Moon, she articulates that she needed that, and I didn't even know how much I needed to watch her react to whatever it was that the angel said to pack. But it worked out so beautifully, and you get to visibly see it, and I have it as an archive forever. If I ever doubt the majesty, the magic, and the wonder of our metaphysical world and reality, of our metaverse, of our universe, of our 3D and 5D and million D reality, everything is always working ever so intricately, and you guys got to see. So thank you for coming along this journey with me, for my collective that's been here, that's watched me teach from the lessons of my pain and disdain and dissatisfaction and disappointment with that Fae. Thank you for your patience. We can finally put it away. And for new people here, I do more than just this. We talk about other things that pertain to you, my good sis and my good sir. But this had to be a work that was done, and I had to make sure that it was fully done, because I can't show up for you if I'm not healthy and with still little pieces of emotional shrapnel in me that I didn't even know. I could not properly help you grow. So give a thank you to Moon too, because she did a great work for me, even though I know it's not something she signed up to do, but she did it beautifully. Anyway, guys, so good sharing energy with you. Come back and join me next time, and we'll continue to evolve together.